Sunshine, Wild Ones. It's Bernadette. I am here with your daily pick a card tarot reading for Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. That's a lot of repeating numbers, especially the number 2. And you know what that means. It means angels are surrounding this reading. So I went and I got my angel wing necklace so I could vibe y'all out with the angel energy for today because you're gonna need it. Why are you gonna need it? Because the hills are alive with the sound of music. That can only mean one thing. It can mean goat as the Six of Pentacles on this fiery, go ahead, get ahead, move, Mars energy, aggressive, aggression, get her done energy of this Tuesday, and all coming from your sacral chakra. So there is some serious vibrancy and passion and all kinds of cool stuff going on today. And ultimately, what it means for you is you are going to be able to hit the great heights. It's already preordained, it's already coming to you, and we're going to talk about how to get you there, even if you don't see it right now. Okay, so if you're just joining us, I read from my own award-winning Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck. And it is based on the Rider-Waite system, the most traditional system out there. But it also brings into play all the symbolism and meaning, spirit animal meanings, totem animal meanings, power animal meanings, all the animal allies, all that stuff, y'all. And what that does is it really gives you a much more expanded kind of reading, a more in-depth reading. And when we take a look, let's take a look first at the traditional Six of Pentacles card. It's a pretty easy, straightforward card to understand, sort of, kind of. Pentacles, as you all know, and if you don't, there's a video to what the Suit of Pentacles is really all about, an in-depth kind of deep dive into it. You'll find that link in the comments section below. But the Six of Pentacles, you know, a lot of people think it's only about coin or about success with finance. And it definitely can be that, but it can also be success in anything that you want to have success in. If it is spiritual awakening, check. If it's a great relationship, check. If it's just that you want to have the energy to get your dishes done by the end of the day, check. But it is the earth element, and so more often than not, it really does have to do with reaping abundance, reaping what we sow. And when we take a look at the Six of Pentacle cards for you on this Tuesday, I always remember Maya Angelou saying, when we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed. Let me say that again. When we give cheerfully, most of us do, and we accept gratefully, lots of people have a problem with that. We are all blessed because there's a balance, there's a rotation, there's an ebb, there's a flow. So when you are considering what the Six of Pentacles has to do with you today, it's really about getting your just rewards in whatever way that means. Usually it's really good. And it also means, hey, share the wealth. You know, don't be the stingy kid in class who, you know, has got an entire ginormous pack of gum and you don't want to share stick of gum with anybody. Don't be that person, right? So when you take a look at the traditional symbolism that's on the card, what you'll find is the fellow standing there, and he gives the pentacles, but they're not distributed symmetrically. You'll see that 3 are on the left, 2 are on the right, and one's in the middle, because everybody's got different needs. You hope that they tell you what they need, but if you are trying to work with somebody, or have a successful friendship or romantic relationship, or even within your own family, sometimes you might have to ask, and you might have to shake shake it out of them a little bit. But it's really important to know what people need and how they need to receive it, if that makes sense. So when you take a look at the beggar on the left side of the Six of Pentacles, he's wearing a citrine cloak. And that means it's back to the gold, it's back to the coin. His needs are material. When you look at the beggar on the right, that beggar is wearing azure or azure. And that color symbolizes divine mercy. That person may be poor as a church mouse, but in that moment, coin might not help that person at all, but they may need to experience fairness and justice. And that's why the merchant holds the scales, the symbol of justice and balance, over his head. Now, the merchant's cloak, the russet color of that, symbolizes rational understanding. The olive color of the boots signifies that the understanding is based on an intuitive sense of compassion. And then the white and blue tunic is all about an act of charity that's deeply spiritual. So when this merchant gives, he blesses and teaches at the same time, because he also makes the sign of the benediction. And that shows, well, really the gray kind of stage and background in the back show that it's a fundamental principle in everything that he gives. That's really important, because how many of us give and never tell anyone about it? How many of us keep our good deeds to ourselves? If you look at Facebook, not many people. Man, they cannot wait to get on Facebook and tell you how they treated the person in back of them, or did this or did that. Man, they love to extol their virtues. Now, some people will argue and go, that's not true for everybody. Some people think they're teaching by, showing an example of yak, yak, yak. Okay, cool. But when you consider this particular card, really, again, going back to his act of charity is deeply spiritual. Why are you compelled to give to who you give to if it's an act of charity? Why? What do you want anything back from it? Are you sure you don't? Are you sure you do? Is that an understood thing before you give to someone? Are you a person that gives and gives and gives, and then one day, somebody's got, they don't, I don't know, do you right, or they, are ugly to you or whatever, and you're like, I can't believe after everything I've done for you. I love it when people say that, because I'm like, really? And which of those things did I ask you for? Right? Okay. And for those of you out there that are readers or aspiring readers, you're going to get that a lot in your practice. I just can't believe so and so and such and such did this to me after all, say it with me, after all I've done for them. That's my favorite thing. So this card definitely is a great sign. It is an amazing omen of really good things to come for you. It's also a sign that maybe it's time for you to do an inventory check of your emotional currency and see how much of it you've been giving away, but more importantly, why, and do you or do you not expect anything back from it? Okay, so, generally speaking, there's something coming for you with the Six of Pentacles. It's tarot card meanings. It means something's coming to you that's going to benefit you in the long run. You don't even have to think about it. You can just go on autopilot and keep doing what you're doing, because it's on its way to you. Now, that said, it seems like you might be a little off track, and this is exactly the thing you need to get you back on track, because the universe is going to give you what you need. Maybe you're frustrated with your job, but you really need to make ends meet, so you got to show up and do the thing. Maybe you're looking for a job and somebody's going to give you some information that's going to help you have an edge over somebody. If you're the one who's doing the giving, again, your gifts are going to be well received, and that's good. That's going to make you feel good. But what's the more important component there? That whoever you're giving those gifts to is really going to benefit from that. Now, what does GOAT have to do with all this? Well, oh my gosh. Okay, so every time I hear anybody talking about goats, when it comes to like goats as a spirit totem or power animal, the one thing that they generally, I don't know how they miss it, or maybe it doesn't resonate with them, is that goats only need 2 square inches to climb up anything. They just needed that much of a foothold, a hoof hold, to be able to go up and up and up. And that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna stop with the goat puns, because I'm a pun-a-maniac, and I'll pun my way through every bit of this goat thing if y'all don't watch me. So You know, if you've ever seen those pictures or those videos of the goats with their shoulders on the side of the mountain and they're just standing there on the moss and the leaves and the grass and stuff that are jutting out from the mountains. I don't know why they got to go there. I feel very confident there's all kinds of other stuff for them to eat where they don't have to give the rest of us in the world a dang heart attack from sitting on a ledge where there's only that much. But what that tells you is you, even if you think you're at the end of your rope, you're not. Even if you think you're so far off track, you ain't never going to see that track again. That's not true. Goat is here with the Six of Pentacles to tell you you've got more sure footing than you might think. And then if you just stop bleeding about it, oh, see, there we go. I promised I wouldn't, but I did. Sorry, y'all. If you'll just stop, about it, you'll be able to see that sure footing and you'll be able to climb to the highest heights that you want to climb to. So it really, Goat teaches us to navigate landscapes that are just kind of kooky for whatever reason they do it, which is another thing I think Goat teaches us is we don't know anybody else an explanation of why we do what we do the way we do it. We really, really don't. So, now let's be clear. I'm not talking about like if you're in a business partnership and you want to go off half cocked and do something, obviously, you're in a relationship or a partnership of any kind, a romantic, with your friends, with your family, with your whatever, and you got some cockamamie scheme and you want to go off on it, but it's going to affect them as well. Of course, you need to sit down and, talk it out, of course. But it's important for you to know that however kooky they think you sound, you have a sound idea. You've got a sound vision. Maybe it just needs fleshing out, but you've got it. And do your level best to see if they'll work with you and kind of get in your program. Now, one of the things that I love to bring up anytime anybody asks me about goats are the fainting goats. Now, they don't really faint. It's thought that they don't really faint. What they do is they seize up. Like their fight or flight, when they're startled, they just simply go whammo, and they hit the ground. That makes goat a very big omen that this is not the time for you to seize up. This is not the time for your fight or flight or stay or whatever the other word is that they put it. This is not that time. The time is to stand your own ground. Even if your piece of ground is that big, stand that piece of ground. Don't let anything or anybody rattle you enough that you go into just like they call it seizing. I think if people have epilepsy or other conditions, seizing or storming, I think I've heard it called before, where everything just goes board stiff and you literally you can be awake, but you can't control anything in your body. Don't do that. When you think about, something a little less, kind of quote unquote serious about goats, when you go back in mythology, they're a pretty bawdy bunch. You think of the satyrs that are half goats, half man. They're all about virility. They're all about fun. It all ties into Bacchus and Artemis and Thor. And, they're just a healthy lot of bawdy, rowdy rebels that can teach you how to have a really good time. And I love looking at the goats that climb trees because they teach us that we can climb to the top of whatever we want to climb to. And, they sit there and they're swaying back and forth on their limbs. And they're munching as they're looking around on their leaves. And you just got to laugh. You just got to laugh because they don't care. They don't care where they're at. They're going to have a good time. They're going to go with the flow. Some of them even bounce up and down. I really know they like bouncing up and down. And tell me y'all have seen the goat yoga videos. Tell me y'all have seen the baby goats on the little trampolines. As a person who had goats when she was a kid, Nubian goats, they're my favorite goats. My Sylvia. They really, man, they're like dogs in a lot of ways. You can train them to do just about anything. They've got the most amazing personalities and sweet as they can be. Okay, maybe not always the males. Okay, they can get a little rowdy, but if they're not spayed, neutered, cut, whatever you call it, they can get a little rowdy, and a little gross, but they're still they're still very well-intentioned animals. So goats also have a 360-degree eyesight, and they can see ultraviolet light. So here are these very simple beings. They don't really seem like all that to, when you start to stack them up against a lion or a hawk or, one of the more popular spirit animals, they don't seem like a lot, but there is a lot to them. It's okay to be a hawk. Okay, yes, you can fly to those highest heights. But what happens when you land? Is the footing under your feet, under your claws, your talons, is it as solid as you would like? And how far can you travel? If you're a lion, that's awesome. But again, how far upwards can you travel and cling to the tiniest little bit of something something that might be sticking out of something something? So, the other thing that goat teaches us is if you are adopting goat as your power animal today and you're trying to unite that part of you that is goat with that, you might be looking at the wrong thing, because if you need balance, that the Six of Pentacles brings, you might need a little bit of help getting off that ledge. And that's kind of what I was talking about when the fainting goat sees up and they go wham. That's out on a ledge, y'all. Come back, come back, come back from the ledge. It doesn't have to be that way. So I hope this has been super helpful to you. When it comes to goat, and it comes to, well, whether is it your spirit animal, your totem animal, your power animal, in every animal, there's just so much packed into them that really some of these universal things can be, these kind of more universal themes, like take a sure-footed approach to things, have the confidence to climb to the top, have the power to step back from the ledge, to talk yourself down from the ledge. All of those things can be true and more if you are calling on goat today as your spirit totem and power animal. I hope this has been helpful. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you have first crack at all of these great daily readings. Not that I make them great, but my animal allies, y'all's animal allies, y'all. That's who makes the readings accurate, great, and perfect for you. So pick up your copy also if you don't have it yet. Pick up your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. And all of that said, even when you're standing on the teensy-weensy little piece of your mountain, wherever that mountain is, the most important thing to remember is to stay wild.